Okay, so we're starting back, okay? I'm just gonna restart my timer here. Okay. So I was saying I was driving a Ford Irwin active duty. And so I'm an Iraq veteran. I stayed in Germany for a year, and then I went to Fort Irwin, where my family was. So I was visiting my family. And by the grace of God, I don't drink or smoke, and so knock on wood, and on all that, and and I don't really date. I have a ring on my finger. No, I don't really date much. I have dated. Okay, now, so I missed the turnoff point. I called my squad leader, so I pulled over. I had seen a police officer. I made way for them. My squad leader said, "You passed for Doeman is what happened. You need to get off, wrap back around." I don't know how you figured that out. Wrap back around, and because it was pitch black dark, you couldn't see nothing. I didn't know what road or nothing. Maybe I had told him a name or something. So he said, get off, wrap around, and get back on the other way, and then get off. When it said, I don't know, it didn't necessarily say Fort Irwin, but get off. Maybe it does. So get off here, okay? So I said, okay. So as I started to get ready to pull into traffic, the police had somehow gotten behind me and turned their lights off. So I wasn't aware they were behind me. And when I turned my lights on and put my clicker on, I'm getting ready to get merged back into traffic. That traffic is like desert traffic. Okay. So I'm getting ready to merge, and they turn their lights on and they pull me over. No, you can't. Pull back over. So I pull over, and then they walk over. They don't walk over on the driver's side. Because this is desert traffic, so it's like a speedway, and it's pitch with no lights, pitch black dark. So they walk over to the right side, and they say, where's your sticker? Where's your stuff? And it's a brand new car. I just bought it. And I say, oh, the thing is right there. It says it right there. I just bought it, and you can check, and here's my military ID. I'm in the military reporter, and I gotta ride back around. And they say, no, you gotta wait. And so they go to one of them goes to his car and goes and checks my information. Where's your insurance? Where's your stuff? That we don't get that yet. They said it's here on the sticker. What is that sticker? That sticker is a sticker they give you for a new car. Where's your license plate? I don't have one. They didn't give me one yet. They said they're gonna mail it. I think it's I said, it's a brand new car. And they said, wait, hold on. And then one of them went to the thing. The other one was staying like with a flashlight, looking in my car kind of thing. And so I said, I gotta call my squad leader, because now my mom had told me that a black lady was last seen by police officers, and then she disappeared, or she died or something. This is what my mom told me on the phone, okay? So I'm now thinking I need to just call my squad leader. They say, no, you can't make any phone call. Don't make a call. I said, I'm in the active duty. I have to call and do accountability. And because we know we have a 9:00 we have to be back by and all that. So I'm calling my squad leader. And my squad leader says, oh, don't worry. They're going to let you go. They're going to let you go real quick. They're just checking your stuff. And so I say, okay. So they say, did you smoke? I say, no. And then they keep asking me all these questions. So I say, I'm on speakerphone. I say, you need to come get me. Come get me. And then we just leave the car here. So come get me. He says, no, give it a few minutes. Then after so many minutes, my squad leader said, okay, I'm gonna come get you. It's on speakerphone. The minute he says that, the officers say, okay, never mind. You can go, but don't let this happen again. And I say, okay. They let me go, and I tell my squad leader, don't hang up until I get back on the base. So I get off, I wrap back around, I go back, and I kiss the floor that I walk on. I go and I thank my squad leader and everything. But after that, I was like, I never want to be behind where I'm in front of a police officer again at night by myself. This is what I said. So I got off of the ramp at Lancaster, and I saw a police officer. So I got behind him, and I said, I would just ride behind him for a little while. Now you turn. So we went down getting ready to turn left down this residential street. And then I look up in my rear view, and another police officer is behind me. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't want a police officer to be behind me. So we go down this residential street. It has a line. So I turn. And I go back to the main street so I can go on home. I'm just going back to travel. But the officer turns with me closely and follows me. The one behind me. And I say, oh my God. And I say, oh, he's not following me. So I said, well, okay. So, because I had to go back this way, turn right. So now I'm getting ready to turn back the way I was going home. So I said, let me just go back and going home. So as soon as I find, and it has a place I can turn, so I just turn and start going back home. They pull me over. And I say, so I pull over and I get out of the car and I go and I say, sir, I don't have my ID. I just want to tell you, I think I lost it because I thought I had lost my ID, but it was in my military uniform. My mom was moving. I'm a night student. I finished my night class and I went shopping. I went and got some cereal, I think, at Bonds, because they stayed open like 24 hours or way late, okay? Where we were in Tarzana. I live in Lancaster. It's like about an hour drive. And I had active duty in my reserve unit. Because now I'm in the reserves now in this, and my sergeant can let me work for a week. So I just left my military ID and my ID in my military uniform, which is buried, by the way, under my books, under grocery bags, under just a community college student. Okay, so my room, my car looked like a bachelor pad. Okay, it just wasn't organized, not good. Okay, because it's always clean. I was in active duty, it's just not organized. But I had thought I had put it in my civilian jeans, and it wasn't there. Just my credit card was in there. So I thought I had lost my ID, but I hadn't. I spent all day looking for it. And that's why I was actually coming back home to Lancaster here to come look for it. So he said, get back in the car. So I got back in the car. Then he gets out of the car eventually and comes over, and then he says, step out of the vehicle. So I said, well, let me call my mom. I always call mom, and she always goes, well, just let them. Because one person had pulled me over, I had just paid my registration at the DMV, but it didn't show. And I got pulled over one time, and I was trying to say something. He was like, don't talk, because I'll just arrest you if you talk. Okay. So and I had talked about that, how in different neighborhoods, they treat the people different. They treat people differently in rich neighborhoods. Okay. than they do in middle class neighborhoods. Okay. And poor too. Okay. So, because they're told to do so. Okay. And the people complain and they will sue. The rich will sue. Okay. And all that kind of stuff. Okay. So I was calling my mom. So he grabbed my arm, pulled me out, not in a forceful way, just pulled me out of the car. And then he did something with my thumb and just like squeezed my thumb like that, and then took the phone out of my hand, put it on top of the car. And then he put the hand that was holding the phone but behind my back. And so I was facing the mountains, because it's a vacant lot. And I was facing the mountains, and I just looked over my shoulder and I said, I work for the federal government. And he said, what? And I said, I'm in the United States Army. And he chuckled, because I'm in my civilian clothes. So I don't know if I looked like I was in the Army. And while I was looking at me, called for backup. And so I was just waiting. Now, the other officer was in the car. There was another one. And he's like, Caucasian looking, the one that I was talking to just now. And then the other one seemed to me to be Latino. They were both corporals, which was deputy in the officer field. Okay. And so when the other one came over, a cuff was put on me. Okay, like a handcuff. A cuff was put on me on that arm. My other arm had my keys in my hand. This hand had my keys in my hand. And the officer behind me gently and slowly laid me down on the ground. So I was gripping the floor. I wear a size 8.5 men's shoes, so I never need to tie them. I just slip my feet into them. They slipped out. One of my feet slipped out of the shoe. Okay. So he laid me down, and because I was gripping the ground with my feet, but I knew not to move my body in any way. So he laid me down gently, then put like his knee or something on me, and on top of my hand with the key. So meanwhile, I'm trying to use the key to get the car alarm, and then I noticed the door's open. So the car alarm is not going to work. And so he pulls my arm from under my body, and then he cuffs me. And so at that point, I'm saying, somebody help me, somebody help me. I'm yelling, but it's a vacant lot. It's like 3 a.m. in Lancaster on Sierra, right by, no, it's on K Street, K Street on its way to Sierra. Okay. So it's this big vacant lot. So, like about it's like at least like a 2-block vacant lot. And to the right, I think there are like maybe stores or homes or something. But when I was saying, hey, somebody help me, nobody came, nobody noticed. And then there was one car that went by, and I was so shocked that they went by and they heard me saying, somebody help me. I felt at the time, knock on wood, I felt that I would have stopped and called 911 if someone was doing that. But the person just drove by. So I was saying, help me. Okay. So I'm saying, help me. And then the other one, who I think is Latino, he, not that I'm trying to say anything about Latinos, he kneels by my face, and we're like toward the trunk of the car now. Okay. So he kneels by my face. The car is there. The end of the car is there. He kneels by my face, and I think he pulls at I had a ponytail, a fake ponytail. So he pulls at my ponytail, and, he says something like, oh my God, what's this? And so he's surprised. He thought it was real. I think, he thought it was real. So he's just surprised that he drops it on the floor. So he takes this can of mace and sprays my eyes. And at that point, I can't say, and plus the other officer's on me, and I know not to move my body. So I'm saying, so I just go, so that way I can make a sound. But he's on my diaphragm, so I can no longer keep doing that. Plus they spray. And now after they spray me, after he sprays me, I can't make, I stop altogether after that. Now he takes his hand and runs it through my hair. So now it's sticking up like Don King. Okay. It still has a little bit in the ponytail, but it's now sticking up. So then they freeze. I freeze now. I'm not making any sound. I'm just staring at the cement. Trying not to put my forehead hit the cement. Trying not to do that. Okay. Not that they're pushing my head or anything. I'm just trying to keep my head off the ground. So I have to keep my head up like that, And so I'm just staring at the cement, tasting mace, listening to the silence, complete silence. So the officer to my left, the one that had sprayed me, doesn't move a muscle, doesn't say a word. The one on top of me doesn't move a muscle, doesn't say a word. I don't move a muscle, I don't say a word. We sit there for like 5 minutes. Maybe another car goes by, I don't know. Just 5 minutes, nothing. You could drop a needle. It's that quiet. You can hear a pin drop. Then all of a sudden, the officer behind me picks me up, and what I see surprises me because it's like 5 or 10 police officer cars. All the lights are making the color, the lights are going, but they didn't make any sound. They didn't alert any